Alright, welcome back. So, this is bolted in nice and sturdy. This is still kind of loose. Just gonna take a little C-clamp I got. I have no clue where I got them from, so no one asked me where. I honestly do not know. So, get this little C-clamp. I'm gonna go here and just clamp this together nice and tight. And now, I go through with a 5/32 drill bit. And I'm going to drill from this part into this part. And then I'm going to pop rivet it together. Here's one hole. Again, 5/32. Then take the pop rivet that will hopefully fit. At least it would if the pop rivet gun would fit in there. So what I do is I drill another one in here on the back side. Alright, so I did more than just one. No one's stupid. Pop rivet and all that stuff in there. Then just pop rivet it together. One. Do a second one somewhere. Get into that one from there. Now that we've got at least one, we'll just take this clamp off. Those other two holes drilled out should line up good enough for us where we can get one of them in there. There we go. Pop that one. See if we can get the third one in there. We'll drill the last hole for now. Yes, I'm gonna do 4 holes per jig where they go together. If you haven't figured that out already. And no, I'm not deburring them, I should, but it's just an assembly fixture. Alright, now that that one's done, we can, well, done other than one popper of it, which I'll get with it out of the airplane. We can pull it back off and see if it actually worked. It should. It's staying there, right? And there we have it. One assembly fixture, or whatever you want to call it. So I'll pop rivet that one in later. I'll probably have to do it at work. I don't have a pop rivet gun small enough to get right there. But do that to work, or at work. So one down, one to go. Just so I can actually show you guys that yes, I'm doing some building. I'll let y'all watch me do that one too. Who said scratch building was hard? I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting tired of working on this thing. Again. So much to do, so little time. I guess you could look at it that way. Should be more like so much left to do, so little money. It's like getting so close to having a fuselage. I was like, everybody that knows about this thing, that knows me personally, is like, oh, you got the fuselage coming out, huh? I'm like, yeah, pretty soon. Like, oh, so you must be about done. I'm like, no. Still gotta do the canopy frame. I gotta remake that mold because I messed it up. Messed that one up a long time ago. I don't know what I was thinking about when I did that. Learning experience. Anyway, gotta remake that mold. What else is there? I gotta mold the thing. Gotta make a plug, mold it, make an actual part. Gotta lay out some gear doors and speed brakes again. Then I have to do the flaps. Still gotta mold those, or not mold them, but lay them up. Gotta do all the flap hardware, or internals. Gotta design all the flap hinges, which will all be CNC G10. Then I've got to go drill 2 holes. But I got the flaps to do, got spoilers I've got to do, I've got slats that I still have to build plugs for. Yeah, I haven't even done the plugs yet for those things. Then I got to detail, then I got glass the plugs and detail the plugs and mold the plugs and design the flaps, the slat tracks for it. And man, you guys probably think I'm done. I probably, when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's like to get everything I want to be this airplane to have, including all the lantern pods, the Phoenix missiles, the Sidewinder missiles, the the J-dams, the nose chin, the laser guided bombs, the 800-pound iron bomb, I mean, all that stuff. God, I need 3 more of me to do all the detail crap so I can focus on this thing. You know, for those interested, pricing I've got about, it's pretty much 90% finalized. There are a few things here and there that might kind of change things. One thing is tailpipes. I got to figure out who I'm going to get those from. And the other thing's fuel tanks. And then there's some like electronic stuff for the sweep mechanism that I'm still working on. So other than really those 3 things, pricing's finalized. And I think y'all would be really surprised on the pricing, considering what the 2 Chinese versions are going for. It's not that big of a difference, to be honest. Granted, this is a lot more work because I'm not painting it or any of that stuff, but I'll ramble on about that more in a bit. Let me drill some holes and do some work. Okay, now what was I saying? Oh yeah, pricing. The thing everybody wants to know and nobody wants to pay. I think the Skymaster F-14 is going for just under 10 grand. I think it's like 9,800 bucks, which really is a pretty dang good deal. I was expecting it to be a little more expensive, to be honest, but theirs is priced pretty reasonable. I mean, granted, I think that's with all the options except for an armament package. So it's cockpit, which their cockpit really, I think, looks like crap. Landing gear looks really good. It surprisingly looks very similar to someone else's CAD drawings that I know. We won't even get into that. Anyway, but I mean, model-wise, it's pretty good. There's a lot of flaws in the airplane. Well, scale-wise. I mean, there's flaws scale-wise. I'm not saying that structural-wise or anything. I'm really impressed with the amount of testing that they've gone through with that airplane before selling one to anybody. So you have to applaud them on that, especially after the whole flyable jet and all those the whole controversy with that and their stuff falling apart. So kudos to Skymaster for really putting a hell of a testing phase on their F-14. But scale-wise, the airplane leaves a lot to be desired in my eyes. There are some things that, if you're a Tomcat nut and you've spent over 10 years researching and designing and building and detailing and molding your own F-14, like someone I know, I mean, there's stuff about their model that you see and you just automatically, it's like, okay, yeah, that's not right. For instance, the biggest one that really frustrates me is their slats. The things are like 3.5, 4 inches wide, and in reality, they should be about an inch and a half on the top side. They're not that wide. I mean, their stuff is like that much of the the wing core at the root. I was really not impressed by that. I know there's some other things that I saw. I'm not gonna go through and explain them all because, one, I don't feel like it. Two, it gives them a chance to fix it without doing their own research. And three, mine's better in skill accuracy. I've never seen their layest composite models or anything, so I'm not, or none of the Skymaster models, so I'm not gonna say my stuff's better than theirs as far as quality of the layups and everything. Just because, like everybody that I know and that does composites a good bit, your layups are never perfect. They're acceptable, so what they tell me. The reason why they say that's because you're always learning something new, some way to do it faster, cheaper, more efficiently. I mean, insert whatever reason why you want to, really. There's always a better way. Or someone thinks they have a better way. Anyways, alright. That's all bolted in. Get a little C-clamp here, and we'll clamp these two together and switch out drill bits. And we'll get ready to get this fixture done. It was so much quicker after you do the first one, you know? It's not like that Horton I built. First wing took a month or two to build, the first pair of wings. The second one took a week and a half. Oh, another thing for those interested, I'm going to offer 2 people 1 airplane. So 2 airplanes, the first 2 airplanes other than this one are going to go, are available at a significantly reduced rate or pricing schedule, whatever you want to call it. Reason why, because 1, I need landing gear. I don't have the money to do it right now. I have killed my bank account with composite materials. So 1, I need landing gear. 2, since I need landing gear, I get a better price on them if I order multiple sets at once, which means I need multiple people, or I have to come up with a lot of money on my own, which again I ain't got at the moment. So 2 airplanes, once this one comes out of the mold and I am pleased with its weight, well, even if I'm not pleased with it, I already know a couple of ways I can shave a pound or 2 off this airplane. But I'm going to offer 2 people an airplane for a lot cheaper. And by a lot cheaper, I mean barely over my cost of materials. So the labor's damn near free. The only thing I ask in return is when you build it, you take lots of pictures, you write down notes on things that could be better, or things that were worse, or were great, or sucked, or whatever. I mean, good or bad, I don't care. I just need feedback on whoever builds the thing, on what could be done better or whatnot. Because I mean, when you've been working on it as long as I have been, you kind of get blind to the easy, oh duh, answers or the way of doing it, and you start kind of overthinking things. For instance, that wing panel that I put the video up for you guys last night. That thing is way overkill. Like Bob says, overkill is overweight, and that's really the truth of that wing panel. Yeah, it's extremely strong. I bet you that one wing panel, I bet you could hold 400 to 600 pounds of weight all on its own without budging, without even giggling at it. I mean, it's just so stupidly overbuilt. It's also heavy. I mean, that one wing panel is 3 pounds. 3 pounds on a 110-inch airplane is not a whole lot, but when you add another wing panel, it's 6 pounds, and then you got to add flaps to it, slats, spoilers, all the spoiler control mechanism, all the slat control mechanism, all of the flap hinges. I mean, you're probably talking about another 4 pounds with a good layup on all that stuff. So now you're at 10 pounds for just 2 pairs of wings, and then you got to put servos, and then extensions, and then you figure another 1.5 pounds and radio gear in the wing panels. Now you're at 11 pounds for a pair of wings. That's heavy. In actuality, I would like those wing panels to be 7 pounds fully outfitted. I say Flight Eagle Jet a lot because they're the first one really to come out with a big F-14 this size. So you kind of gotta keep up with their stuff, and as bad as the press for them has been lately, I've gotten caught up in it. Their models actually do look really great. Unfortunately, they can't keep some of the bigger ones together, but they look good. And the weights on the parts are actually not that bad. I think a full set of wings, spoilers, flaps, I mean everything for this airplane, for the F-14 is like 6 pounds. So that's that's a pretty dang good number to shoot for. If I can get them lighter, even better. If they're a little heavier, if they're a little heavier and a lot stronger, I'm fine with that. But if they're a lot stronger and a lot heavier, no bueno. I mean, if I can get that wing panel down there to 2 pounds and have it a little bit less, let me lose a little bit of strength, say, instead of it being 500 pounds or 400 pounds, just have it only support 200 or 250 pounds, which is actually the numbers I'm shooting for, 250 to 3. I'm cool with that. This airplane, I want to come down to the Jet World Masters weight limits of 22 kilograms, which is about 44 pounds dry. So when you start looking at that number, and you consider an airplane that's 10 foot long and a 10 foot wingspan, that's got 2 turbines, 5 pounds. I mean, you start looking at the numbers and you start doing it, your entire airframe has to come down to like 10 pounds to get everything in here to fit. 5 years ago, you probably never even would have got an airplane this size at that weight limit, just because the turbines were heavier, the servos were heavier, the batteries were all NICADs or whatever. I mean, it would have been a nightmare to try and get an airplane this big that weight and it be strong. And sometimes I don't even think you could have done it anyway, done it if you had the best of the best. Nowadays, with the JetCat P100s and the P140s, and you get Carostar, and get like fuel pumps and solenoids and ECUs and stuff built into the turbines, things are starting to get pretty light. So realistically, you're starting to see bigger airplanes getting in lower weights. But to get a big airplane really light, you gotta spend a lot of money. Look at the Russian guys with the Yak 130 that won. I think they won last year and or the 2 years ago and this year, the Jet World Masters. That airplane's about as big as this one, and it's like 20 kilograms dry. So you're talking about like 40 pounds or so. That's pretty dang good. And that, guys, is not easy unless you just have a ton of experience, prior experience, to go on and know exactly, hey, what layup schedule will give me the strength at this weight. And the guys who know that stuff, that have that experience, they don't let it go very easily. Right? And the reason why they don't let go of it is because they spend a lot of money to figure it out. Or they spend a lot of money to pay somebody to figure it out for them. I mean, just kind of naming the game. So when you get guys like Bob, they come out here and basically show you from a bare plug ready for glass and detailing all the way to a flying airplane. I mean, it's just a wealth of knowledge that you just typically don't find. And it's great to have people like that in this hobby, because there's a lot of hobbies people aren't like that. Drag racing, for one, if you find somebody willing to give you the secrets on how to make your car faster, better hold on to them. Those guys, especially some of the older guys or the middle-aged guys, they don't let go of their secrets. They know what works and they know how to make it work, and they don't tell anybody. It seems like this hobby is not quite that bad, or it isn't like that. People are a lot more open on how they go about doing things. It's one of the things about this hobby I like. So, alright, here's that second assembly, fixture, jig, whatever you want to call it, done up. And since these things are handed parts, you don't have to worry about putting them on the wrong side. They'll always be in the right position. Speaking of sides and positions and whatnot, this fancy little captive nuts, I think they're called. Alright, here we go, left and right. That's easy, wasn't it? Easy peasy. So, move video camera back over here. I'll make y'all sick one day, I know it. Moving this thing around all over the place. Alright. I'm going to zoom way in. Hopefully the video camera will actually... Perfect. Maybe it'll actually stay focused. Again, McMaster car. Give him a little... McMaster car. Love this place. It's like the hobby shop for tinkerers. Now these little things right here. Find you in a minute. There we go. Called a captive nut. Basically, it's not really a nut. It's just a round piece of metal with internal threads. But what you guys can probably see is right here around the largest round part, there are these little serrations. And then it actually has a little recess. Try to zoom in a bit more. But that ain't gonna work. Try to zoom in a little slower. Go on camera. It's not good. Anyway, you can kind of see it. Big part, serration, a little recess, and then there's this little, I want to call it a bell. It's like a flared end. So basically what you do is you drill your hole, like I did for those jig bolts, and then you go, I forget what size it is. I think it's the next size larger, so what was that, 5/32? 5/16. So you drill a 5/16 hole. You put this on the back side that you want that typically your nuts would be in, put your bolt through, you spin it, you just tighten it up, and this belled end actually goes into your hole, and it kind of spreads the hole open, and then the hole closes back in on that cinched area, and this stays in place the whole time. So these things are kind of expensive. I mean, there's 15 or 20 right there, and I think it's about the same amount of money cash-wise. So, with those things, if I could get to my mold rack over here.
Move, dogs.
You can see is here's that center spar plug or mold, and these things are just literally sucked down in there. Now I got to get some shorter quarter 20 so they don't stick out. But anyway, now when you stick this inside the bag, you don't have to worry about wing nuts poking through your bag, other than right here, because they just wouldn't fit. So those are the cool little things I found that I might end up buying a bunch of those off and on and replace all the wing nuts with those things, because they're really nice, and they come set up to where you can have different as they call it, panel thicknesses. And I think they go all the way down to like 60 thousandths in thickness, and they actually have some that'll stay in there. How that works, I don't know. So yeah. Anyways, like I said, this is that carry through box mold. I did a few things differently on this one. One, I used some carbon fiber just to add a little bit of strength here. Another thing is that core material I used in the Horton, that Aeromat or Soric XF2, whatever you want to call it. I actually put that down around the flanges. I mean, you can see it built up that flange really quickly. I'm going to use this stuff a little more often for building up flange thicknesses, because yeah, this stuff soaks up a ton of resin, but man, this flange built up thickness quick. It's strong. It doesn't really compress any. And it's cheap. So that's where I'm at with this thing. When I get around to doing something important, I'll pop in the video cameras and we'll get around to doing some more work. Hoping to have the material for the bulkheads ordered this week, tonight. Hopefully it'll be here by Wednesday, and maybe next weekend we'll be closing up a fuselage. You never know. Anyways, y'all have a good one. See you back in the shop.